How do you feel about your office? Is it just a space for your company, or is it a space to help you grow your company? From new HQs to satellite offices, with WeWork, you can find a space that works for you. Visit we.co/space matters to learn more.
Caller's already in. That's 6 over here, you come?
How big of an impact is Tre'Quan Smith about to make down the stretch? What potentially top 5 quarterback might be on your waiver wire right now? And what is the latest update on the I Got 5 on it bets? Plus, the 9th place team owner in the FFPC main event, Brandon Shamy, hangs out with us to talk about Jack Doyle, the Pittsburgh running back trio, and more. We've got a great show for you. Dave Gerzak is here. I'm Eric Balkman. Stick around. Your high-stakes fantasy football hour starts now.
Hey, bro.
Broadcast live and heard around the world, you are now listening to the most entertaining hour of radio on the planet. It's the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by MyFFPC.com with your hosts Eric Balkman and Dave Gerzak. The High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour is your home for football analysis from the best fantasy players in the world. And now, because no one else was available, here are Eric Balkman and Dave Gerzak.
Thank you so much, Rob. Greetings and salutations, all of you Balkaholics and Gerzak addicts. Welcome to the latest episode of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by MyFFPC.com. I am, of course, your slightly above average host, Eric Balkman, and my co-host is the patron saint of fantasy football, Dave Gerzak. You know him as the Dizzle. Coming up on tonight's show, we give you an update on the I Got 5 on it bets that Dave and I have made throughout the season, plus Brandon Shamy will tell us how he's gotten his FFPC main event team all the way up to 9th place and much more. Shout out to the chat room right now. If you feel you have to get some questions out, get something off your chest, ask a pending starter sit question, waivers question, whatever it may be, post the questions in there. You can do so on Twitter as well, at HSFFOR, at Eric Balkman, at David Gerzak, Facebook.com/HSFFOR is where to reach us there. And of course, if you want to give us a call tonight, hop on the blower, 347-426-3682. That's 347-GAME-OVA. You can also email the show at the inbox at highstakesfantasyfootball@gmail.com.
Calm down.
Next time, I'll break the Prozacs in half. If you have any questions for us, now's the time to send them. We'll get to all the chat room questions, tweets, and emails in the fantasy feedback segment later on in the show. Bryce is our audio engineer. How the hell are you? And Rob, mutual friend and producer, behind the glass tonight, pushing all the buttons. I pushed all the buttons for the RotoViz High Stakes Lowdown this week, and you can check it out at rotoviz.com/podcast. You can also go to Spreaker.com/High Stakes Lowdown, and the latest episode is up there. Of course, it is Biplab Mandel at __Rainmaker was the guest this week. 4th place in the FFPC Terminator is where he sits right now. He's got a couple of main event teams and Football Guys teams in contention. In that episode, we talk a lot about the changing situation with James Conner, both for redraft and dynasty purposes. Le'Veon Bell, obviously we touch on that. Get into some good Cooper Kupp and Tariq Cohen analysis in that episode, plus how he is handling his team the rest of the way. And Dave, I made sure that I made specific mention because he says he doesn't like to terminate any players until Sunday morning. I said, Biplab, do not forget to terminate a player. And he said, don't worry, Balky. I'm going to take care of it. I got this. Still a little nervous. Check it out. rotoviz.com/podcast, High Stakes Lowdown, Biplab Mandel, and yours truly.
By the way, if you don't play the Terminator contest, you really should play it because right now, about 10 weeks into the season, there's like 30 teams out of the 360 that are now terminated because they've forgotten the
Just forgot to terminate a player.
So yeah. if you're able to remember to do stuff, please play. Whatever there's the percentage that FFPC takes, 8% of the players are out already. And there were some good teams actually. Unfortunately, I hate to do it. I have to email them and tell them that they've been terminated, and sometimes they get they're not too happy sometimes.
No, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, we can't forgive anybody for, like, we'll forgive, but we can't forget, and your team has to be terminated.
Because they forgot.
Yeah.
I did get a suggestion we should send the reminder email out later, like maybe Friday.
I've kind of I've varied it up a little bit this year.
Did you just settle your own volition?
Because normally I was always sending it on Wednesdays last year, and it just, obviously, we had the same issue last year, people forgetting to terminate. So some days I send it out on Tuesday, some days it is Friday, some days it's Thursday. Like, I try to vary it up.
Maybe next year we'll do it all on Saturday or Sunday morning.
We can do that. We can do that the rest of the season right now if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
I don't care that much.
There is another I want to get to our guest here shortly, but Dave, very briefly, there is something rolled out in the FFPC this week that a lot of people had some questions about. We sent an email out about it on Thursday. Is there anything you want to tell the listeners about FFPC side action?
Oh, yeah, side action, it's where you can play against, just challenge head-to-head against someone in your league, or even in like a main event. If you have a team in the main event, you can play anybody on the leaderboard. Right now there's no point spreads, but we may offer that at some point where you can lay points or ask for points. It starts at $10. I think in the email my fault a little bit there. We only showed the higher end stuff, but it starts at $10.
Yeah, and for anybody who is curious that, oh my goodness, I can't believe the rake those awful felons at the FFPC are taking. I believe that's been adjusted.
Yeah, the higher end stuff is a lower. It's a lower. I hate to say the word rake, but it's a lower rake. It's similar to like DraftKings and FanDuel, so it's equivalent.
So that has changed as well. So make sure that you're checking that out.
Challenge some people. If you think you're awesome at Dynasty, prove it. Let's go. Put some bets up. Or some side action out there.
Kurt Kikas is leading the FFPC main event right now. I wonder if he's gotten any side action requests for his main event team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun. Throw it out, especially if if they have bye week issues.
Kurt Kikas is putting up 190 points a week. So I'm sure he's taking as much action as he can.
Well, once you get a line, though, it'd be kind of fun. You could challenge him and say, me plus 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, let's get into tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen. I want to bring him on right now. He's been very patient. He's been playing high-stakes fantasy football for 6 years, has won 7 high-stakes main event leagues already under his belt. And just his second year, Dave, in the FFPC, he's gotten his team up to 9th place heading into Week 10 of the season. Please welcome into the program, Mr. Brandon Shamy. Brandon, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight with Dave Gerzak, Eric Balkman here. Pleasure to have you, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
I went bowling tonight. I'm gonna cue this up.
This is an interview?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Brandon. Brandon, you're an East Coast guy. Do you do a lot of bowling out there?
Is that Kevin?
I don't do a ton of bowling, but I do enjoy it. A lot of places around here now have, like, the TVs and everything, and, bar service and all that. Why, do you bowl a lot?
I said no, I don't, and in fact, I'm awful at it, but I went with my kids tonight before the show, and we had the bumpers up. High score for me ever, 146 for me, with bumpers. Brandon, I'm pretty proud of that. I told Dave before the show, he didn't seem to care, and I just wanted to brag a little bit. Yeah, I know you don't care, but I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Humble brag. No, do a question.
Yeah, humble brag / embarrassed brag is where it's at. Let's get on to fantasy football. Brandon, tell the listeners what you do for a living out there, and I believe you're in New Jersey. Tell us what you do out there.
So I actually own 3 Smoothie King franchises, if you guys have ever heard of them. So that keeps me pretty busy.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Are they all roughly like in the same area there?
They are. They're all about like 10-15 minutes apart. So it helps operationally to be close.
So what's your favorite smoothie that you have? The one that you always would get?
My favorite smoothie is probably a Gladiator, which is like 45 grams of protein, and then I get apple and peanut butter in it.
Holy cow! 45 grams of protein.
Awesome. How many calories are in that? About 400 or 500?
Yeah, it's about 400 in it. Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's bad
really
with
good.
That much protein.
Yeah.
Bulky's up for it.
Oh yeah, I'm down. Mark me down. I'm down. So when you add the peanut butter, is it 45 grams of protein pre-peanut butter, and then when you add the peanut butter, it's even more?
It's a great question, and you're correct. Yes, you do get more protein by adding the peanut butter.
Oh my gosh, I got to check this out, Dave.
This is the hard-hitting.
I've been missing out. My piddly little 20-gram protein shakes.
No, also, there's no smoothie things, I don't think, in this area.
We don't we're in Northeast.
Because the people here are poor.
Yeah, Brandon, we're in Northeast Wisconsin here, and we actually just got our first indoor plumbing a couple of weeks back, so it's been fantastic here so far. We're hoping Smoothie King is the next step.
You guys are
behind the times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit, yeah.
That's for sure. Anyway.
Yeah, I just saw somebody with a non-flip cell phone for the first time last week. So it's listen, we're catching up fast, man. Very, very fast.
Speaking of behind the times, I asked Balky about starting Adam Humphries last week, and he told me to start the other guy. But nice job for you to pick up Adam Humphries.
Who was the other guy? Was it Laquan Treadwell?
Yeah, Treadwell.
Yeah, Treadwell.
5 points. There's
what
5.
A stone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Humphries has seen 27 targets in the last 3 games. So are you of the opinion that he should actually be flexed out now for teams that own him?
So I do think he could be flexed. I think it depends on your options, though. He's seen snap counts of 70% and 82% in the last 2 weeks. Last week especially, he outsnapped both Deshaun and Godwin. Tampa's really been struggling to run the ball, averaging over 40 pass attempts a game. My one concern is the last 2 big games he's had, the Bucs were big underdogs and playing from behind, and now they're favored this week. So I personally am, in most cases, trying to see it 1 more week.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. And plus, they're going to be dogs, I'm sure, in some games coming up because they're not all that great. So
yeah,
he's a great guy to have on your
And
team.
he's the type of guy I think this week, like you said, Brandon. If he does it this week, I mean, he's going to be a tough sit going forward, even when the bye weeks get over with. I mean, as a flex, I think he's definitely a guy that you have to look at getting in your lineup for sure. Let's move on and talk about Dallas Goedert. He is your backup tight end on this 9th place team in the FFPC main. Are you simply just keeping him around in case Zach Ertz gets hurt and then Goddard would step in to be the de facto number 1 tight end in Philly? Or can he actually have some starting value in a tight end premium format like the FFPC? And given that the Eagles love to pass the ball, maybe there's some standalone value there for Goddard. Can you tell us a little bit about what your plans for him are for the duration of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually see him more of kind of as that lottery ticket where if Ertz were to go down, I think he would step into a top 5 tight end immediately. Mainly just because the system and, his talent, I really think he passes the eye test. They do run a ton of 2 tight end sets, but now with the addition of Golden Tate, I'm a little concerned that he's not going to have much standalone value. So luckily I have Jack Doyle back, who I think is going to be a much safer option for me.
Yeah, Doyle right away out of the gates. I think he saw like 70% of the snaps. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it might even been higher than that. He was running the routes. He was out there much more than Ebron. Dave and I are definitely big Jack Doyle fans as well. I picked him up, Dave, before they went on bye. He was out there in a couple leagues, and I think you got him in a couple of spots as well.
Yeah, Kentucky. Very shrewd of you, Balky.
Well, I got good advice from the great Dave Gerzak on that one, so I can't take full credit. The bye week is always an interesting thing where you can pick up guys who are going on it and get them cheap, but then you got to put up with Dave missing out on them, of course, and there's a big bye week looming coming up in week 12.
Yeah, Brandon, you probably wouldn't be where you're at right now without the great Todd Gurley, Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill, and week 12 is their bye week. Do you have obviously you're aware of this when you drafted him, or if you weren't, well, now you're aware of it. You won titles, so you're obviously aware of it. So, do you you feel pretty good? Do you have good backup options for those guys?
I do. I picked up Andy Dalton. He plays the Browns that week. And then my depth isn't terrible with Sterling Shepard, Emmanuel Sanders. But to be honest, guys, it's going to be very hard to replace. Those guys are putting over 70 points a week total between the 3 of them. So to expect to replace that, I'm hoping for 40, 50 of that 70 and then, get some luck elsewhere, to be realistic.
And I'm kind of curious. Let me ask you this, Brandon, because you're 9th place overall in the main event, and obviously a big reason that you are that high has been because of Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Todd Gurley. If you had to do it all over again, would you be changing out those players knowing that, oh my goodness, what am I going to do in week 12? Or would you kind of keep it status quo because well, maybe it's going to be tough if I'm in the league playoffs that first week, but I got my eyes on a bigger prize. I think that you're pretty happy where you're at right now with those 3 guys.
Absolutely, because also I have a very good chance, knock on wood, to hold on to most points in the league. So I would still get a first or second seed and win a little bit of money. And then I still like my chances with those studs, for the big money.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a death now. A lot of people assume, oh, my goodness, week 12, I got no shot. Well, there's a such thing as depth, and if you could plug the right guys in, make the correct calls there, you not only could win the league, but you could really be set up for something big for the remainder of the season, Dave.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, week 12, it's like you have 11 weeks to solidify the back end of your roster. Those guys 11 through 20. You should be doing something. You should have some decent depth. What's his name? Tyler Boyd was a great pickup this year, wide receiver. If you picked him up, I mean, he's been fantastic.
You're starting him every week.
Yeah, exactly. And there's other there's running backs as well that were great pickups. So I think you should be fine. Plus, you do get the people don't talk about this much, but you get the benefit of using these superstars for weeks 1 through 11. You don't have to deal with bye weeks during that whole regular season, which helps you get to the playoffs in the first place.
Absolutely. Brandon Shamy is our guest here tonight on the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour. Eric Balkman, Dave Gerzak coming at you. Brandon is sitting in 9th place in the FFPC main event heading into week 10. I'm just looking at your blind bidding budget, what you have here left, Brandon. It looks like it's $34 out of $1,000 left on this team as you prep not only for these upcoming league playoffs coming up in week 12, but the championship round. How do you see is the best way to spend those last $34? What are you allocating those funds to over the next few weeks?
Well, I've kind of tried to get ahead of it, so right now I'm probably just going to focus on, some good defensive matchups for the future, maybe even kicker, and then I like to always take a shot on like a backup running back if they're available for these last 1 or 2 weeks, and kind of hope somebody goes down.
How nice of you.
Yeah, that's great.
You're very gentlemanly.
I'm just being honest.
It's totally, listen.
Exactly. You're East Coast, you don't lie.
We here as high stakes fantasy football players, we never root for injuries, but we don't mind them when they happen, especially if we got the backup. So I'm totally with you on that. It's being I always screw this phrase up. Preparation is the mother of all luck. I don't know what it is. That's not the phrase. I always screw it up. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Dave, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers here.
Yeah, well, speaking about, having good backups and having a backup running back, what about Jalen Samuels? He actually was pretty reasonably decent.
Scored a touchdown.
Touchdown, exactly. We were big fans of Samuels coming into this draft process. He's able to play tight end, running back, wide receiver, very versatile player. Le'Veon Bell may be coming back, and Connor entered concussion protocol. Are you bidding on? I mean, you can't bid heavily on him in your one league there, but what about in other leagues, or what are you thinking about Samuel?
So honestly, I always spend early because I don't have patience, so I don't really have money anywhere. However, if I did, I would go after him, but because I feel like whoever gets touches in Pittsburgh is going to produce with that O-line and great offense. But I also still feel like Connor's only in concussion protocol. He's not out for the year. We still don't know what's going on with Bell. So I don't think I would go crazy, but I would, if I had money, I would definitely go above average to be aggressive. What are you going to save the money for at this point,
Exactly. I nail on the head right there, Brandon. And the thing is, the concussion protocol, we're going to get updates on this before waivers process next Wednesday. And you can't bid on, because, he obviously played on Thursday. You can't bid on him and win him until next week. And you look at the Le'Veon Bell situation. He may have made his call by Tuesday. We'll know if he's in with the Steelers or not. So I think that there's something to be said there as well. I mean, I think you make a good point there, and Samuels definitely will be bidded heavily on right now. Will it remain? I mean, will those bids still exist come Wednesday night? I'm not sure. We'll find out. Certainly, that is a storyline we will be paying attention to after the games this weekend. Let's move on and talk about a player that you had mentioned already, Brandon, and that's Jack Doyle. Now, Eric Ebron's snap count and routes run were significantly down when Jack Doyle made his return in Week 8. And given the awful tight end landscape and knowing what Jack Doyle has been able to do when he's healthy, is he actually a top 5 tight end the rest of the way for the duration of the season?
I think he could be. I think it's close because obviously after Kelsey and Ertz, it's really been very inconsistent. I definitely think Doyle can be more consistent than, guys like Jared Cook and stuff like that. So I do, and I think Luck loves him. We all know that. So I do think he can be very consistent.
Dave, what about top 5? I know you like Doyle. Is he a top 5 guy the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think I'd have to look at the list, but I think he's probably more like 7 or 8, but I mean, it's just guessing.
Let me ask you something right now. If you were in a redraft league and you could trade, and somebody offered you Jack Doyle for your Rob Gronkowski, what would you do?
Honestly, at this point, if I probably would take it, actually. Gronkowski's really pissing me off.
Yeah, I make that deal.
Pardon. Gronkowski, I can't trust him at this point. But I actually, speaking of Gronk, I think Gronk sits this week. They got the bye next week. Is that right?
That sounds right, yeah. I think that's what they've been talking about. Yeah, I think a third of the league is on bye next week.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and he's at least reasonably healthy. He does have some incentives that he may not hit now, thanks to that.
They restructured that contract, if you remember, in the preseason to give him more money and make some of it performance-based. So I think you're right. That is interesting. I need to trade him I have him in one dynasty league. I need to flip him for something.
I got him for Hunter Henry, and then Henry tore his ACL, and I'm still not even mad about it right now.
Yeah. The Patriots played last week on Sunday Night Football, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, this week they're at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Trust me, I actually looked.
Right. So so that they were the primetime game last week. There's an interesting primetime game on Monday night this week with the Niners and Giants. Not a very palatable game to be watching, Dave, but certainly some interesting players in this game for fantasy, especially on the Giants side, and interesting decisions here, including Mr. Sterling Shepard, that I think we need to talk about here with Brandon.
All right. So anyway, thanks for the lead in balking.
I'm just letting you know.
So, Brandon, would you rather start T.Y. Hilton at home against the Jaguars, or are you going to look at Sterling Shepard in the lights Monday night? They're not a little bit dim because it's San Francisco and the Giants, but it's still Monday night.
I think it's very close. I would lean Shepard. The only thing I would say is sometimes I would look at like my opponent's team, and if I'm like a big underdog, I'd roll the dice on Hilton in this case because I do think he has a little more upside. But that being said, like Shepard has been getting at least 7 to 8 targets a game. Before the bye, Hilton only had 5 targets against Oakland, and they put up 42 points. Like Luck really seems to be spreading the ball. So for me, I would lean Shepard, but I could understand people going with the upside of Hilton. But I would go Shepard.
That's interesting you bring up the targets, because that's a lot of times when I'm looking at 2 different players, Taylor Gabriel and Shepard actually I think are players that I was looking at those 2. And yeah, like I saw Shepard 8 targets, and Gabriel 5, 4.
Right.
And I think that's a pretty smart thing to do. Do you do that pretty much consistently, Brandon?
I do like to take a look at it because obviously snaps are important as well. But I want to see if the guy's getting targeted because he can't produce without having a chance.
There you go. That was a nice layup question, Bob.
Yeah, totally.
Very hard hitting.
Well, this is not a layup type question. As
the emails.
We get a couple of emails here. Tom in Los Angeles wants to know Austin Hooper. This is a starter sick question. Austin Hooper at Cleveland, or should he go with not Rob Gronkowski, C.J. Uzomah versus the Saints this week in Cincinnati? Which guy are you playing there? Is it Hooper or is it Uzomah for you, Brandon?
I would play Uzomah. I think he bounces back with no A.J. Green. I do.
It's a high-scoring game, Dave. That Cincinnati Saints game. Is that where you would roll with Uzomah over Hooper?
Yeah, even though Uzomah had a 0 last week or the week before, whatever it was. I like.
Did you notice he had a ton of targets that game though? Which is kind of bizarre.
There's not a lot of options out there, and Boyd is more of a slottish type guy, so he's gonna get.
A what type guy?
Slottish.
Slottish. Got it. Okay. Perfect.
He's slutty.
Yeah. No, I got it. One more here for you. This is from Bill. Another starter sick question. Bill in Plattsburgh, New York. He wants to know, Matt Breida at home against the Giants under the lights, Dave, Monday Night Football. Is it Matt Breida or does he go with Mike Davis at the Rams? Which one are you playing there? And thank you, of course, for the email, Bill in Plattsburgh, New York. Brandon, where do you fall on this, Breida or Davis this week?
I mean, obviously we got to monitor Carson, but I think no matter what, I actually really love Breida this week with Mostert being hurt. So I would actually lean Breida against a pretty pathetic Giants team.
I should ask you, are you a Giants fan? Or who's your team out there, Brandon?
I am a Giants fan. Yeah,
and,
so it's pretty painful.
That's all right. Hey, by the way, so all right.
Go ahead. That's
so
fine.
what did you think of the decision to draft?
It's literally what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, Balky. By the way, Balky was with Saquon Balky on Twitter. By the way, just to be funny.
Yeah.
So it's Saquon Barkley, and whatever you think his quarterback would have been the right choice. What do you think?
No, I'm okay with it because I just think he's so impressive, and I just think he's a generational talent. And I haven't been that impressed with. I know they're so young, but I haven't been that impressed with. Mayfield was my choice, and he went first, so we didn't even have a chance at him. And I'm not that impressed with Darno, so I actually am really happy with what we ended up doing. And I'm hopeful that we actually just kind of lose out and then take the kid from Oregon. But I think the Raiders might have something to say about that.
That's a great point. I'm actually of the opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, in this, but you have Evan Engram, you have Odell Beckham, you have Saquon Barkley, you have Sterling Shepard, you have all these great playmakers on offense. I'm not saying that you can just roll out a Nick Mullins type player, but I'm not sure if you need to invest a top 2 or 3 overall pick on a quarterback here.
What?
And you could get you could get a guy in the second or third round you can get a guy in the second or third round.
Keep talking, I'll keep laughing.
Trot him out there. No, I don't think you need to invest it. We've seen this done before.
Oh, yes, of course we've seen it done. You've also seen a ton of terrible second and third round picks.
You've seen a ton of terrible first round picks.
Absolutely, but it's still much better hit rate on a top quarterback.
I would like to know what that.
Window of
I would like
opportunity
to. I
for
would
these players.
honestly no. Seriously,
a second round pick that's going to come in and play quarterback and be awesome right away.
I would love to know what the hit rate is on first round quarterbacks versus. And I'll tell you this.
Ask Jake Rickroyd. He'll tell you.
There are a hell of a lot more first round busts because everybody wastes their first round pick on quarterbacks all the time. They don't use
the worst.
They don't. No, listen. They don't. I'm telling you right now. They typically don't take a whole lot of them in the second or third round.
Anyway, this is laughable.
It's not laughable.
It's
laughable.
It's awful.
I'm just telling you. Okay.
You're so far off base.
I am not so far off base on this.
Are you saying the hit rate on second and third round quarterbacks is?
I'm saying that there were. Here's what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Put your earplugs on.
All I'm saying.
Run the interview long.
I guarantee you this. There's been a lot more first round busts at quarterback than there have been in the second or third round. That's all I'm saying.
What a sheer number on a percentage.
Sheer number.
Well, that's not saying anything.
That's saying a lot.
What matters is the percentage of quarterbacks that are being drafted that are a bust in the first round, which is about 50%. In the second and third round,
I would contend that it's higher than 50%.
Fine, maybe it's 55, whatever.
I think it's significantly higher than 50. I don't know what this is.
Your overall argument is ludicrous, but go ahead.
It's not ludicrous. I don't understand. You're making this.
Last guy's saying it's testable. He'll figure. Well, someone.
All right, let's get somebody on this. Seriously.
Yes, when you're talking about the overall players, yes, because there's more quarterbacks taken in the first round. Yes, more are going to bust. I mean, that's just a pure numbers thing.
I'm just and the other thing too. Part of the reason that these guys bust in the first round is because they're expected to be the savior of their team because they don't have adequate preparation. They're rushed into it. They don't have the weapons around them. You already have.
This is 6 straight anecdotal statements. Keep going.
They're not. How is it anecdotal? That makes no sense.
You're making blanket statements about everybody.
No, it's not what I said at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
Mahomes was rushed into
Listen, Trump. I'm telling you right now that
Mahomes didn't get rushed into it.
I'm not saying all of them do get rushed into it. I'm saying a lot of them do. A lot of them do.
Now you're saying a lot. You did say they get rushed into it.
Yes, the ones that get rushed into it, they do get rushed.
Are there any more stupid emails?
No, that's it. That's all.
Are there any more?
No, I have none. We can get to the final question here.
So we made him wait that long for the.
Well, I'll tell you. So Brandon, you are of the opinion. No, it wasn't. You are of the opinion that you would like to see the Giants investing in a quarterback in whatever it is, top 3, top 5, wherever the Giants are picking this year.
At this point, yes. However, I'll be honest with you, I would have loved to see them get a Teddy Bridgewater. I thought the Saints got a steal getting him.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see them do something like that because of some of the points you were making, where I do feel like we have the weapons. So I would have liked them to do something like that. But now at this point, where I don't know if any solid backup is available, yes, at this point I'd like to see us just take the plunge and try to get a young quarterback. But I would much rather, because as you said, we have proven weapons. I would love to get somebody that has some experience that has had some success, like a Teddy Bridgewater.
This is perfect. Okay, so you say Bridgewater. I'm going to throw another name at you, and you let me know what you think. Jameis Winston.
Seamus.
So,
do they have Uber?
I mean, I think he's very talented, but it's like, is it going to be Eli 2.0 with turnovers every other possession,
No, that's a good point.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about him. But it's a good point. He's obviously on his way out in Tampa.
It definitely certainly seems that way. Speaking on his way out, Brandon has been
very accommodating.
99th percentile guest putting up with our nonsense tonight.
I can go for a gladiator smoothie after this whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's load up the protein, baby. Where's the peanut butter?
In Jersey, baby? Let's go.
Go ahead with the final question here tonight for Brandon, Dave.
All right, we need some tips here. Give us a player that a lot of high stakes owners will have in their lineups, but do you think they should really think twice about starting this weekend? Once again, think in the question twice. As well as a bench player that deserves to be in the lineups this week.
All right, so this one's really tough for me because with the bye weeks, I feel like, you're kind of stuck starting your guys in general. But I did see a bunch of lineups I was looking at. I saw Randall Cobb in a few, and I just think he's so banged up and looks so washed up. So I'm not interested in him at all. Another guy is that I think we all have to start, but I'm just concerned about is actually Tyler Boyd, because I'm afraid they're going to move the Alex Erickson kid into the slot and move Boyd to the outside, and he's had all of his success in the slot. Obviously, we got to start him. We all need to start him, but it's just something where we should temper our expectations, I think, with A.J. Green being out, I think is a negative.
I actually agree with that. I was concerned about Boyd. I mean, Green draws so much attention that Boyd's just sits, slinking around in there in the middle. He's a slotty guy.
Slinking around.
The
slottish guy is slinking around. No, that's interesting. I own Boyd. I only think I have him in one league, and I have to play him this week, but I am tempering expectations a little bit because I am nervous about what's going to happen. I think, the one good thing I will say about Boyd this week, in addition to his heightened target share, is it should be a fairly high-scoring game, I would imagine. And I think that Cincinnati is going to have to throw a lot to keep pace. So that is looking good for him. But, long-term, until A.J. Green gets back, I just want the status quo. Get Green back out there and have Boyd catching all these easy passes. That's what I want. Is it asking too much, Brandon? I don't think so.
I agree. And I think he will make it up, hopefully, with volume. I think he'll get way more targets, hopefully. So he'll make up for it.
Yeah.
So the one bench player that...
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Go ahead.
So the one guy I'm looking at is, actually there's two guys I like, is Matt Breida. I think a lot of us are hesitant to play him, which is understood, but I think that Mostert injury, now that he's out for the year, should really allow him to get, 15 to 20 touches. He's had a week and a half to rest because they played last Thursday. So he's someone I think is a little sneaky that's on your bench that I do think could really perform well this week because, again, he really passes the eye test for me of somebody that is pretty talented when he's healthy. And the last guy would be the DJ Chark. He's the rookie out of LSU, and he played 75% of the snaps over Keelan Cole last week before the bye, and I think he's a little sneaky play. So.
I like that. DJ Chark.
No, I cut him a couple of weeks ago in one of my dynasty leagues.
In dynasty?
Yeah, in dynasty. I'm like,
how can you do that?
No, I had some issues. I had some bye week issues, and I'll pick him back up again later. And that was in Blake Carrington, and Anarchy actually snaked him on me, so he's got him.
How did I do it?
And I dumped Keelan Cole in pretty much all my leagues now, so he is floating out there. But yeah, Chark. Remember that guy? For the combine, didn't he blow up the combine with the measurables, Dave?
Yeah, we were talking about him. I drafted him a lot in the second, third round of almost all my dynasties.
I drafted him, I have him in two other dynasty leagues. I got him in the third round of all three of them. So
because Waldman hated him. Waldman didn't like him.
Yeah.
Well, Waldman drives that dynasty ADP.
Yeah, he does.
Brandon, if you play a dynasty with us, you should start. If you don't, you should start. Matt Waldman.
I should start. I actually don't, but I should.
It's a fun little off-season exercise, and you can win some money doing it too. And you are, my friend, in the running to winning some serious money this year as only 8 teams are ahead of you in the FFPC main event after 9 weeks of play. Congratulations on all your success so far. Best of luck to you in not only this league, but all your leagues the rest of the way. Most importantly, Thanks for putting up with me and Dave bickering tonight during your interview. I certainly appreciate that.
And as with every other guest that comes on, Bulky's rooting for you more.
Hey, listen, we have a lot of guests on the show, Dave, and I got to tell you, Brandon is a special one, and I'll definitely be pulling hard for you, man, to
win it all.
to get that main event title. Win that natty, as the kids say. Go out and do it, man. Thanks so much.
Franchise with that.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be king in Wisconsin.
Thank you, guys. I
Thanks
appreciate
for the FFPC too. Yes, yeah, exactly. So that would be awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. Enjoy the games this weekend, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Brandon Shamy, 9th place in the FFPC main event as we head into Week 10. What a great guy.
Go for a smoothie, now.
Yeah, the Gladiator. I like it. What's such a great name too.
Yeah.
Did I tell you?
Movie.
I don't think I told you this. I probably shouldn't even. Literally nobody cares, and I don't even think you will. I'm gonna do this right now. I don't know how I came up with this. I was talking with Bryce today. If I ever have a fake name, like I have to come, like I'm
your friend Bush?
Calling it, no, not like that. But if I'm calling into like a sports talk station, or if I want to form like a Twitter burner account, I figured out what my name's gonna be. Yeah. Leon Twizzler. That's you laugh. As soon as I think that is such a fantastic name.
So Leon Twizzler.
If you ever see, and that's available by the way on Twitter. If you ever see somebody like in a chat room somewhere or on Reddit or with the name Leon Twizzler, you know who it is.
All right, I'm going to say it. I know PC culture says maybe I shouldn't.
Don't say it.
But I have a white friend named Leroy.
Yes, you do.
But there's not a lot of white Leroys. There's not a lot of white Leons. So is your Leon Twizzler going to be a spectacular, wonderful African American man?
It's ambiguous. He's racially fluid, Dave. So
my buddy Leroy's a honky.
Yeah. Why do you do that?
You know what? The Jeffersons. You ever watch the Jeffersons?
Yeah, I did.
He used to always say honky. It's a funny term.
It's a different time back then. You can
say honky.
We used to have slaves in the 1800s too. I don't know.
I didn't have any slaves, and I didn't live in the 1800s.
Well, the country did, and you weren't on the Jeffersons
either.
Actually,
to be honest with you, I'm politically.
Yeah.
All the slaves were owned by Democrats. That is true.
All right, I like how you're
I'm just honestly saying that is true.
Okay.
It's factually correct.
All right. I am not. The views and opinions expressed by Dave Gerzak do not necessarily represent the views and opinions expressed by Eric Balkman, the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour, or the Fantasy Football Players Channel.
No, I like George Jefferson. He was a proud Democrat. I liked him. I probably believe in his politics.
Now, when they did, you remember the show Amen? That Sherman Helmsley is on. That was not a spin-off of the Jeffersons, was it?
I don't know, to be honest.
The Jeffersons was a spin-off of All in the Family.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that character ended. I don't think that
was a great show.
With the Jeffersons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else was on that show besides Wheezy? I don't remember.
Florence, the housekeeper.
And that was
and the British guy, the white British dude. And then their kid,
I remember the white British dude.
How did that work?
Now, I remember 227 was a spin-off of the Jeffersons, wasn't it?
Helmsley or?
Sherman Helmsley was.
Oh, yeah, it was whatever.
Hold on.
So then their friends there was the white husband and the African-American black wife, right? That was the.
It was an African-American black wife.
Well, I don't know, whatever black wife, whatever people want to call it. I'm a little uncomfortable with how you term it.
This is great. He was an African-American black. Marla Gibbs was on the show. There's also somebody in the cast, Mike Evans, apparently.
Mike Evans?
Yeah.
Was currently placed for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, Mike Evans was the son. He was Sherman Hemsley's son.
I'm sure it's not that Mike Evans.
No, the actor was Mike Evans, who played Sherman Hemsley's son. I'm just looking for other well-known.
It wasn't a famous cast.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Okay. Well, that was a little fun trip down memory lane. Tune in to Nick at Night for more on that.
Probably have it.
Thanks, football guys, Roto World, Rob, and RotoPass for tonight's rundown. Man, so depressing. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports Dez Bryant left today's practice with what the New Orleans Saints fear is actually a torn Achilles. He was getting an MRI late this afternoon. Really, really terrible. He was with the Saints for 2 days? 3 days?
Whatever.
Something like that. Signed a 1-year deal with them. Now he wasn't.
That's why you spend your waiver money, really.
Yeah, he wasn't expected to play on Sunday, but Ted Ginn's on IR. Dave Cameron Meredith just got placed on IR this week. It could be the Traquan Smith show if everybody's going to focus their attention on Michael Thomas.
Yeah, to some extent, actually. He's looked reasonably good. I'm counting him a limited targets. I don't know if he can run the full route for you. You think he can, or? I know he's a burner.
Yeah, he is a burner. I'm a little bit lukewarm on that right now. We have this guy.
It might be a big Ben Watson week. What about Watson as a sleeper?
It could be. We have this guy on my afternoon talk show.
Oh, where's that?
Do I have to do it? I'm kind of annoying myself when I do it now.
Fine. You don't have to do it.
So he actually works for us, but he comes on as a guest on Monday. Every Monday we have him on, and my co-host always asks him a question like, "Can the Packers win this game?" or "Can the Bucks get the number 1 seed?"
He gets one question?
No. It's just that's one of there's always a question in there like that where it's like a can,
right.
And he always answers the question. Can they? Yeah, they can. Will they? I'm not so sure. And and I tell my co-host something that is such a lazy question. Don't ask that question.
Yeah, ask him will they?
And it always comes up. So it's like, so I'll answer this question. Dave, can he run the full route tree? Yeah, he can. Will he? I'm not so sure with Tre'Quan Smith. But I played him a lot last week. I was pretty disappointed at it.
You played him?
Yeah, I started him in a lot of leagues as a flex.
Wow.
I don't really expect a ton this weekend from him, and I actually fully expect. New Orleans is talking about bumping up a guy from the practice squad on the active roster. Maybe they revisit this Brandon Marshall thing. Kamar Aiken, I want to say they head in for a visit as well, so maybe they sign a veteran like that. I'm not sure. But if anybody is going to blow up for the rest of the season that hasn't already on the Saints, it's going to be Tre'Quan Smith for sure, and that's sort of how I fall on it. Can I tell you my Des Bryant dynasty story?
Sure, what the hell, I don't care.
Actually, I already told this to you.
Oh, well, say it anyway.
I own Des Bryant in one dynasty league.
Me too.
I saw he got signed.
Hashtag me too.
I immediately sent out 11 trade offers for the second round pick for next year. I think I got 9 rejections, and one guy didn't respond, and the other guy accepted it. And he has a very good team. So
that's fantastic.
It's probably going to be a very late second round pick next year. But that said, it is a second round pick, and Des just blew out his Achilles. Could be a career ender.
Dude, I think that's.
I was really. That's like
great job.
One of those things. Now, I'm not looking for praise, but
seriously, I know you're not. That really is a great job.
Like I found out that Des tore his Achilles, and I just looked up to heaven and was like,
no. All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not. I have Josh Gordon in 2 dynasty leagues.
Oh yeah.
And a few weeks ago, I sent out some offers to all these knobs, and none of them took it. So I still own Josh Gordon all these weeks.
Yeah.
In these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So now he's performed. He's on the Patriots.
When's the trade deadline in this league?
It's coming up. I'm not really sure.
Okay. All right.
It's not like stupid Carrington where it's just ended.
So you want that changed too?
I don't really care.
There was a bit of a groundswell in the off season that sort of died off.
So, 2 people emailed?
Yeah, it wasn't.
2. Anyway, so
wasn't enough for me to change it.
Sure not. It's not like that.
Right.
So if I offered Gordon for a 2019 first to all 11 other owners, do you think it's a reasonable offer?
Yes.
And do you think I should do it?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Lost Guy, let us know. Asians Rebels, let us know. Guest 767, let us know what you think of that.
Yeah, and did you say Aces Rebels?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And all the other 54 people in the chat.
Yeah.
You too.
The thing is with Gordon, it's like, and Tom Brady, I said this on the show today on my afternoon show. It's like Josh Gordon got pumped up by Tom Brady this week, and if we've realized anything over the last few seasons, if Tom Brady goes out of his way to compliment you, or he goes out of the way to take a picture of you and post it on his Instagram, you're probably going to be blowing up the following week. So that is great that your trade deadline hasn't happened in those leagues, because I think if Gordon has a big week this week, Dave, you are much more likely to set that dynasty hook right in that owner's mouth and reel him in with that first-round pick. I'd much rather have a 2019 first than 27-year-old Josh Gordon going forward. And it's a deep receiver class this coming season.
Well, it is. I mean, it's interesting because even first-round picks hit at about a 50% rate, kind of similar to something else we were talking about earlier we're not thinking into.
Wrong.
But, yes, I mean, I wonder, though. I mean, it's like, would I be interested in dealing? Maybe I should make 6 offers to the 6 worst teams to start, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to offer them to the 6 worst teams in my opinion, of which
yeah.
my team is, of course, not one of the 6 worst.
Well, I mean, it's
so that's one of the 6
it's
best.
not even an opinion thing. You can just, well, I mean, I guess it kind of is opinion. You could just look at who has the 6 fewest victory points and then just toss those out there.
Very good. And so throw that out there and then just see what happens.
Yeah. But then what do you wait? Do you wait for after this week and then you extend it to everybody or what?
You know, maybe I'll do it tomorrow and just see if I get anything.
Yeah.
And then I'll void them all before I don't want to have them laying out there when he could get hurt or whatever.
Right.
Anyway. I'm glad to talk about all my crappy teams now. They're wasting showtime.
Wasp guy wants to know in the chat early projection on the 101 Dynasty pick next year.
I have not been looking very closely enough to even have
Aces Rebels suggests maybe Bryce Love from Stanford. That's a possibility. I think it's going to be receiver. I think his name is N'Keal Harry from Arizona State. He's an interesting guy. A.J. Brown from Ole Miss is a guy that we'd be paying attention to.
I have a question.
Anthony, I think his name is Anthony Johnson, the cat from Buffalo. He's a
cat.
He's a cat, whatever they are. But he's a big rocked up receiver that put up a massive stat line a couple weeks ago. He's a guy I'd be looking at too. I think it's gonna be a receiver this year. I don't think it's gonna be running back.
So if you have kind of mediocre quarterbacks on your team in your dynasty, you have the 101 pick. Would you give away the 101 pick for Patrick Mahomes?
No.
No?
No. You're asking the wrong guy though, dude. Like I don't just like.
I gotta think about it. Mahomes is like far and away just killing it.
Hey, interesting you bring up Mahomes.
Good.
Let's talk about the Baltimore quarterback situation right now, because there's some news that came out of here today, and I think this is going to be affecting.
I'm going to say this before you say this. I popped in a bunch of $1 bids on Lamar Jackson all over the place.
Good for you, because the Athletic's Jeff Zrebic reports that Joe Flacco's status for next week against the Bengals is actually, quote, in question. Ravens are on bye this week. We don't know how serious it is. Jason Lockenfor from CBS Sports said that Flacco is actually looking for medical opinions over the bye week. And he quote, could require surgery or, quote, prolonged rest. Excuse me, that's what I need right now. This news.
Also, Flacco, I heard, was going to a waxing studio. He's getting the middle of his eyebrows taken out.
I thought you were going to say he's going to get like some sort of stem cell injection going into a tip or something like that.
They call that the American.
Yeah. Hilarious.
This
this is the bye week, Dave, which would make a lot of sense for Lamar Jackson to get a lot of work and maybe be ready to go against said Bengals in Week 11. So far, Lamar Jackson, 34 of 68 for 408 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick in 88 dropbacks during the preseason. He also had 23 carries for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns in the preseason as well. Dave, I mean, this guy, I hesitate to call him a league winner because A, he's a quarterback, and B, he may not have a job. We have 6 teams on bye next week, so you might not be able to pull this off.
It's too gutsy to do it.
But if you can, find a spot for him.
I agree, actually. I think it's totally worth, even in redraft. I think, unless you have, look, if you have Big Ben and Mahomes, or Big Ben and Cam, or Philip Rivers and Big Ben, or whatever, I mean, any of these combinations, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, you have all those two quarterbacks like that, fine. But if you have, like Alex Smith is on your bench, right?
Yeah.
And you have another, let's say you picked up some junky guy from the Jets. Cut the guy from the Jets, or cut your third defense, or even your second defense, and pick him up.
Yeah. Last guy in the chat wants to know, how does Lamar affect other offensive players like Brown on the Ravens?
Well, we talked about John Brown last week, and I said I didn't trust John Brown. And he had not a good week. I don't trust John Brown at all, no matter who the quarterback is. I felt like his first 7 weeks were a little bit deceptive, and I would be looking to start other players other than John Brown. He's to me, he's honestly a little bit like a poor man's Deshaun Jackson. And I think we're going to see that come the rest of the season. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I didn't want to insult the guest last week because he had him.
Right.
I don't like
Brad Cruz, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares.
Well, I don't care what he thinks.
No, he would probably be like.
You know what? Team Woohoo is kicking the living crap out of him right on the big payback in Kentucky. So take that, Brad Cruz.
He's focusing on his FFPC league.
Woohoo!
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, I don't think he drastically changes the values of anybody on Baltimore. I think I would probably bump up a little bit. I'd feel a little bit more comfy with everybody on that Ravens roster with Lamar Jackson rather than Joe Flacco is just kind of like.
Yeah, but Lamar Jackson, he's not going to throw us off, and he's going to run a lot.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to open stuff up too. Like you have to respect the legs of Lamar Jackson. Right now, you don't do that with Joe Flacco.
I would not trust Lamar Jackson as a passing quarterback whatsoever the rest of the season.
So okay.
Crabtree downgraded.
Well,
John Brown downgraded. Hayden Hurst still has red hair. Still not getting a lot of time.
All right. I guess
maybe a little upgrade because he's finally healthy.
Okay. My point is, like, I'm not really playing Crabtree or Hurst right now anyway. So if Jackson is in there, I mean, it is what it is. John Brown's sort of like, I own him in one league, and he's been sort of an every week start for me. I don't think he necessarily affects the running backs at all. God, how weird is it that?
We were just in the chat. I think it opens up Alex Collins a little bit. Although it could hurt Collins' touchdown opportunity.
Yeah, it could. When you get down into the red zone. How weird is it that we could see Lamar Jackson slinging it to Ty Montgomery down the stretch here for the Ravens? So bizarre that this is actually a thing going forward. Speaking of Ty Montgomery, let's talk about his ex-teammate, Randall Cobb. He's questionable for Week 10 against the Miami Dolphins, according to Rob Demoski on Twitter. He had a setback yesterday, was limited in practice both on Thursday and Friday. Might be a game-time decision against Miami. Probably will not be 100% if he plays. Dave, you need to be rooting for Cobb to be inactive so you can free MVS, baby.
I think MVS is free regardless of Cobb.
Really?
Cobb sucks.
Well, but here's the thing. If he's active, he will get targets, okay?
4, 3, whatever, 5?
Those are ones that could be going to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Those are big. That's big deal.
Too. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to start MVS, you start him regardless.
Yeah, and I'd be rooting for Cobb to be inactive. You know what I mean?
Even if he plays, he's relatively close to that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing Cobb anywhere.
He's not. If he plays, he's not inactive. He's just inert.
He was actually available in one of my Kentucky leagues this week. I didn't even bother putting a bid in on him. There's nothing but heartache at the end of that trail.
One thing I do think that the HSFF hour was 100% correct in saying Randall Cobb sucks. He sucks a lot. Yeah. Don't draft him. And if you drafted him, you weren't listening. So what we were saying. We had plenty of stuff wrong. I think we definitely got that right.
Yeah. He was going like 9th, 10th, 11th round sometimes in FFPC drafts, and if you got him there, you were probably like, 11th round, that'll work. I feel good about that. And now you're probably like, man, I could have Patrick Mahomes in the 11th round, or something like that.
Or Cooper Kupp in the 7th or 7th.
Well, that was a little bit earlier, but I'm
Richard
talking about.
Dunn was saying Cooper Kupp wasn't worth it. Wrong.
Yeah.
Kupp's great.
Yeah. Boy, this is a heavy Trump episode tonight.
I didn't, just as I say wrong doesn't mean it has to do with Trump.
Well, you said it just like him. That was like a carbon copy.
Wrong. Maybe you're reading into it.
Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm exhausted. Sony Michel questionable for Week 10 against the Titans, according to the Patriots website. So speaking of Trump, take that for what it's worth. The Patriots website is saying that Sony Michel is questionable.
I thought they were saying he was out.
No, now that would be funny. Adam Schefter said earlier this week that Michel is expected to, not necessarily start, but play against Tennessee after he missed the last 2 games with a knee injury. If he does suit up, Dave, probably going to take away from James White a little bit. And as a James White owner, Sony, we don't need you this week, man. Take the week off, get that knee healed. You got a long postseason ahead of you.
What are you, James White in like 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably. No, but seriously though, I actually own James White and Sony Michel in the same league. In one of my leagues, I have both of them, and I had been starting both of them. When they've both been healthy and active. If Michel's active, I'm still playing, obviously starting James White. The question is, if he's active, Dave, is he a guy that makes your flex spot? If you could play in the FFPC, is he a flex option, a good flex option, his first week back?
I think if he's active, I think you have to take a look at, I think you play him.
You think you'd err on the side of the upside of Sony Michel and get him in your lineup?
Patriots are going to score a lot of points. He still will be the goal line back, although James White gets that role. Who knows what's going to happen near the goal line.
Yeah.
I would actually, I know that we're going to talk about Gronk in a second, or so it seems, but I think if Gronk is inactive, it actually helps Michel just a little bit. I mean, you have the playmakers. I mean, who's a playmaker on the team? You have, Edelman's one, James White's one,
Josh Gordon.
Michel's one, Josh Gordon can be one, or is one.
Can he, Dave? Yeah, he can be. Will he? I'm not so sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
Rob Gronkowski is questionable against the Titans. The ultimate tease. Everybody wants to know about Gronk. Patriots website reporting this. Gronkowski was a limited practice participant Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, that was the case last week, and they didn't play against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Gave me and a lot of other fantasy owners with a 0 on Sunday night. New England does have their bye week next week. They could keep Gronk out this week. The blessing here, Dave, it's a noon game.
Finally.
And, you'll have your choice of options. What would really suck is if your other option was like Vance McDonald or Jesse James. something like that.
I actually looked at every single team that I run, and every one that has Gronk on it, I made sure that there was another option, because I'm not getting another freaking Gronk zero.
It's tough, though. It's like Sunday
it's
night.
Like a Diet Cola.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to have the Gronk zero. It's a piece of crap.
Tastes awful.
It's like saccharine. Have you ever had Tab?
Nah.
It's a new Tab, Gronk zero.
Not only does it taste terrible, it'll knock you right on your ass. And you'll be listed as questionable. All right, Dave, that is going to do it for Fantasy Flash. I wanted to do, normally we do the I Got 5 on It updates halfway through the season. We kind of didn't do it halfway through the season, but it's entering week 10. I mean, I figure that's close enough to the middle point of the season. I thought we'd just kind of go back and look at the bets we've made so far this season and kind of get the lay of the land of this and take a look at where we're at. So are you ready, sir?
Sure, whatever.
All right.
What, do people care about this?
Yeah, they care about this.
So why don't you just say what it's at? Is it you're just going to say it?
No, because I don't have that. I mean, I'll read some and you'll kind of get the gist
All right.
of it. Okay. Jordy Nelson, over or under 164 fantasy points in 2018. I had the under, you had the over.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Jimmy Graham, over or under 8 touchdowns in 2018. I had the under, you had the over.
Really?
Yeah, and remember, you wanted to go 10, and I was like, I'll give you 8 because I felt bad about it.
All right, what are we at?
I don't know. Again, I think he's only scored 2 touchdowns. We
have to do this last season. We'll have 2 this weekend.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
That could happen. I predicted that Devontae Adams, by the way, would score 3 touchdowns this week. Against the
Wasp, I was hoping if he could get the I Got 5 outs in an Excel format.
Excel? I have it in Word format right now.
Word? Who the hell uses?
We do.
Why don't we use a Google Doc? We get Google Sheets. We'll share it to you, Wasp. You can give us your Gmail.
All right, that'll work. Yeah.
Anyone can email the show, and we'll put you in the Gmail invite.
High Stakes Fantasy.
That's a good idea.
That's fine. HighStakesFantasyFootball@gmail.com. If you want to be added to the Google Doc, you can. We should. No, let's not. No,
for 6 years.
That's stupid. We're not doing that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on the HSFF website, so you don't even have to have permission to it.
What's the website?
HSFF.com. Go there. What?
Go ahead.
I'm telling everybody right now. Like HSFF.com. Go there. I'll have me or Rob will put it up there at some point this week, and then we'll have it updated.
Highly doubtful.
It's not highly doubtful.
Waiting for my daughter's grades to come in. This never happened.
Totally not like that at all. Evan Engram, over under 205.6 FFPC points. I had the under. You had the over.
Oh my God.
It's rough because he got hurt. Whatever. Here's an interesting one.
So terrible.
More FFPC points. Jordy Nelson or Martavis Bryant. I had Nelson. You had Bryant. A lot of season left for that. I don't know who I'd rather have. I guess Jordy, but here's a fascinating one. More points this season. I had Randall Cobb. You had DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good on that?
I'm sure I'm good. Cobb's terrible.
Yeah, well, it's not like DJ Moore's been blowing. He had the one good week.
He'll have a couple more.
All right.
I'm not too worried about him.
Okay. Naheem Hines, is he a top 25 running back this season? I said yes. You said no. It's not looking good for me.
All right.
More points.
Why? We're gonna be doing this again
We're not. We don't total these up until like February.
Yeah, anyway.
Don't
read them all up.
I'm going to read them all out. More points this season. I had Derrick Henry. You had Alex Collins.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You got that one.
This is you're ruining the surprise.
More FFPC points per game, Dave. I had Jameis Winston. You had Andrew Luck.
I would assume I'm going to win this, but who knows?
Because Winston had that 1.4 or something like that, so he's basically locked in, he's not.
He also had a 36 or whatever that one was.
Yeah, maybe.
But still,
Luck's
got to beat like 18 or whatever, right?
Yeah, this next one pisses me off. Will Fuller, higher than wide receiver 34. I said yes, you said no, so you get that one. Sucks. More points.
I'm always Kirk Fuller.
More points this season. I had Saquon Barkley. You had David Johnson. That's looking good for me.
Oh, for the love of God.
More Scott Fishbowl points. Me or you? That's looking good for me.
Yeah, my team's terrible.
Here's one that's looking good for you. Shockingly, more points this season. I had Rashad Penny and you had Kenyon Drake.
That's no shock at all.
More points this season. I had Mike Evans. You had Larry Fitzgerald.
Ugh. You're not even doing that well.
No,
Fitz is doing terribly.
I think that one's still up for debate, quite frankly.
Is it really? It might be.
I mean, it might be. Tavon Austin.
He did have a big week last week.
He did.
Man,
and he's got a new OC now, too.
Yeah, thank God. Anyway.
Tavon Austin finishes as a top 45 running back. I said no, you said yes.
Wow.
Top 45.
Moving on.
Here's this will make you feel better. More points this season. I had Rex Burkhead. You had Sony Michel.
All right, well, that's fine.
Here's ones that are already in the books. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I'm not going to read all these.
Thank you.
I will read this.
This is bad radio.
Jimmy Graham scores a week 6.
Aren't you being a pro radio guy?
Yes, this is good radio. You don't know what good radio is. Jimmy Graham scores a week 6 touchdown. Remember, that was the game we were at with Drew Maselli? And I said yes. You said no. You were right on that. And then we have a bunch.
That's funny, given the other bet.
Yes. And then I will just briefly mention this. We had the Latavius Murray-a-thon last week where we made those, all those. I got 5 on it for Latavius Murray. Overall, it was a split. I won 3, you won 3.
Call that a push.
You did win the week, though, because we did make a separate bet of
Leroy would call that a push.
Robert Woods versus Juju Smith-Schuster, and you had Smith-Schuster, so congratulations on that. I would say that I am ahead on the board right now.
That's cool.
I would also say that there is a lot of unknowns on the board yet. And we have many more bets to make. So I think it's going to come right down to it.
The most dangerous ones are the unknown unknowns, you know.
Is that from something?
Not the known unknowns.
What is that from?
That's actually from,
because I've heard it before.
I forgot his name. It was like George W. Bush's chief of staff talking about about international war threats.
Who was the chief of staff for?
I forgot his name. He had glasses and.
It's Rumsfeld.
Yeah,
Rumsfeld. He's a Secretary of Defense. Right?
There you go, Secretary of Defense,
yeah. Known unknowns and unknown unknowns. Oh, man.
That is actually the reason it's good to bring up, because it's actually a really interesting and smart way of thinking about things.
Have you seen the movie that's coming out? It may be out. It's probably not out. It'll be an award season 1. It's called Vice. Adam McKay directed it. Adam McKay, who directed The Big Short, co-founder of FunnyOrDie.com. It's about
Big Short is a fantastic movie.
It's about Dick Cheney, and Christian Bale put all this weight on. He plays Dick Cheney.
Christian Bale from The Machinist.
Right.
This guy's crazy. He's crazy.
He is crazy. Amy Adams plays, I believe, I don't know what Dick Cheney's wife's name is. She's the wife. Sam Rockwell. Who Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, he's in the 3 Billboards movie. He plays George W. Bush, and I saw a clip from it. He's spot on with that.
That's great.
And playing Donald Rumsfeld, Dave, The Office's Steve Carell.
Really?
Yes, and it looks great.
What's the name of the movie?
Vice.
And when's it on?
I don't know when it comes out.
This is like a regular theatrical release?
I'm sure it is. It will be an award season 1, so it'll probably come out this December.
So it's supposed to be that good?
I think it looks very good. I've seen the trailer for it. I don't know. I think it's good.
I actually watched the W movie, which was about George W. Bush. I thought that was relatively all right. It was fun to watch. I like movies like that.
Right. Jesse Plemons, who played Todd in Breaking Bad, who is in Game Night that we were just watching before the show tonight. He's in this film as well. I think it's going to be good.
That's awesome.
I
like those movies. I like the movie 13 Days, actually, about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Never saw it.
That was really good.
I heard. The Vice movie is scheduled to come out on Christmas Day, Dave. So there you go.
All right.
And
I'm going to go see that.
And that's going to do it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank.
We talked about fantasy for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was kind of, we were a little bit light on emails this week for whatever reason. I don't know. Brandon Shamy, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. Fantastic performance by him. Dave Gerzak, the FFPC, Rob Rice, and of course each and every one of you for hanging out on a Friday night with us and talking a little high stakes fantasy football. We certainly appreciate it. We'll be back live next week at 10/9 Central. Denver, Baltimore, Houston, Minnesota. They're all on bye. They're not going to get you any points. Get those players on the bench this week, ladies and gentlemen. Broncos, Ravens, Texans, Vikings, all on bye. Good luck in week 10, of course. Getting right down to it. Load up. Get all the wins and points you can, because next week, the last week of the FFPC regular season for the FPC and the main event, your weekend officially, and of course, starts right now.
This has been another episode of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by MyFFPC.com that was broadcast live and heard around the world. Eric and Dave will be back next week with more analysis, interviews, and advice from a guest much smarter than they are. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk with you again next week.
For the new song to come out.
Yeah, no, we need to do that. That's on me. That's totally on me. Yeah, see, now I am a true radio guy because I'm just falling behind on
tired,
everything.
bulky.
I
Tired complaining.
Do I complain a lot?
No, actually you don't.
All right, good. I found out that I was in the studio this afternoon for the afternoon show. I found out that we were supposed to get our studio redone at the end of 2017. Literally nothing has been done on that front yet. At the real radio station, wow. Yeah. And I had no idea. But I guess if it ever gets done, it'll be quite the treat.
Well, you'll enjoy. What do they do? They just put in more soundproofing material?
No, they're going. Well, there's 6 radio stations at the Woodward Radio Group. They're talking about knocking down the wall between the WHBY and the WSCO studios and making that one big WHBY studio, and then we would get moved to the XXN studio, which is right next door, which is much nicer, a better studio and better acoustics in there. The equipment is much newer. So the board we are using right now is WAPL's board in the 1970s. That's the one we're using right now. Yeah.
Holy cow.
I don't want to switch because
this station WAPL is a rock station in Appleton. It has the same crappy DJs in the morning from the 70s, but they've moved on and they got a newer board. Yeah. But they kept the damn DJs. They're terrible. Rick and Len. There's a word.
I have a great Rick and Len story, but I can't tell them.
No one else cares.
All right. No one else cares. Thanks for listening. Good luck this week, everybody.
Oh, look, it's 12:30 on $2 Tap Tuesday. Except now it's technically Wednesday, and you're awfully hungry. Why not Eat Street it? After all, you're in no shape to be operating microwave machinery. Eat Street's got your back, and your egg rolls, calzones, and curly fries, all delivered to your front door, so you don't go and do something dumb. Hungry? Happy? Eat Street.
Green Bay and Appleton get free delivery only on Eat Street.